Welcome to the reading of the Times Reporter newspaper for Monday, August the 24th. My name is Pam, and we'll begin today's reading with the area deaths. Betty Ann Colvin, 93, of Uricksville, passed away peacefully on Friday, August 21st, at the inn at Norwood Village in Dover. In the interest of public health, Reverend Larry Malterer will officiate a private family service. Mary Catherine McWilliams, 87, of New Philadelphia, passed away peacefully in her home on August 21st. Visitation will be held in the Linhart Guy Funeral Home and Crematory at New Philadelphia on Wednesday, August 26th, from 5 to 7 p.m. A service will be held in the funeral chapel on Thursday, August 27th, beginning at 10:30 a.m. James Jamie William Redding, age 51, died peacefully at Community Hospice Truman House on Saturday, March 15th, after a courageous 3-year battle with cancer. Reed Funeral is assisting. Tyler John Ridenauer, age 22, of Stone Creek, passed away on August 21st. Private funeral services will be held at Salem Evans Creek Lutheran Church on Monday, August 24th. Clarence Elmer Jack Robinson, 92, of Uricksville, was called from this life on August 21st. In the interest of public health, there will be no official private family service. John D. Varansky, age 69, of Mineral City, passed away Wednesday, August 19th. Services will be held Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the Fine Frock Gordon Funeral Home in Magnolia. Friends may call from 6 to 8 p.m. Social distancing and facial coverings are required at all services. Well, friends, that concludes the area deaths listed in today's online edition. So let's begin today's reading with the first article. Muskingum County man injured in a UTV rollover. In Coshocton, a Muskingum County man was injured in a utility vehicle crash Saturday night in Pike Township. The Coshocton County Sheriff's Office said the wreck occurred at 10:53 p.m. on Saturday in the 16,000 block of County Road 80. A 23-year-old Muskingum County man lost control of a Polaris RZR he was driving. The vehicle overturned multiple times in the roadway before going off the left side and over the guardrail. It came to rest after going over an embankment. The sheriff's office said the driver was flown from the scene by medical helicopters to Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center in Columbus for treatment of undisclosed injuries. Assisting on the scene were Wauhanding Valley Fire District, Coshocton County Emergency Medical Services, and Prince's Wrecker Service. The incident remains under investigation by the sheriff's office. Authorities say speed was a factor in the crash. Moving on. Residents planning to cast ballots by mail should vote early, election director says. By John Baker. The director of Tuscarawas County Board of Elections is urging residents who plan to vote by mail in the November general election, to return their ballots as soon as possible. Our advice to voters is vote early, Gail Garbrandt said. Get your application now. The first day by law that we can actually send ballots out to you is October 6th, which is also the first day of early voting. When you get the ballot, please vote it right away and get it back to us. Whether you mail it back or whether you bring it here or drop it off either at the office or at one of the ballot boxes, just as quickly as you can get it back to us. That's the better for us, so we can start processing that information. There have been concerns about whether the U.S. Postal Service will be able to handle the volume of mail right before the November 3rd election due to the number of people expected to vote by mail. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose is predicting voter turnout of up to 75% in the Buckeye State because of the interest in the presidential election. Of that number, 50% are expected to vote by mail. Garbrandt said the County Board of Elections has already received about 2,200 requests for absentee ballots. We are averaging between 300 and 500 applications per day. The board is ordering 65,000 ballots. She reminded residents that there are 3 ways to vote. The first is to vote in person at the board office at the Tuscarawas County Courthouse in New Philadelphia. Early voting begins October 6th and continues until the day before the election. All Board of Election workers will be wearing masks to help slow the spread of COVID-19. They will also be wearing gloves. All voting machines will be wiped down after every use. Those coming to vote will be asked to wear a mask. If someone has a medical condition, they do not have to wear one and will not be required to provide documentation. "We are not the mask police," Garabrandt said. Identification is required to vote, such as a valid driver's license, a state identification card, a utility bill, or a check issued by the government. The second method is to request an absentee ballot. Applications can be found on the Board of Elections website, the Ohio Secretary of State's website, and voteohio.gov. In addition, the Secretary of State has been given approval by the Ohio State Controlling Board to send an absentee ballot application to every registered voter in the state after Labor Day. Garabrandt asked that if someone receives this application and has already requested a ballot, that they not send in a second request. It takes election workers time to process all requests. People planning on voting by mail can download a U.S. Postal Service application called Informed Delivery. "I get a prompt every day showing me a picture of every piece of mail that is coming to my address," Garabrandt said. "You will know when your ballot is coming. You can also track your ballot back to the courthouse if you are worried that we are not going to receive it." Voters can also drop off their ballots at boxes located on Ashwood Lane behind the courthouse or on North Broadway next to the board office. She said they are checked multiple times during the day. The third way is to vote on November 3rd. Tuscarawas County will have 43 polling places open on Election Day. As you know, we are in a global pandemic, and the problem with that is things could change at any time, as we saw with the primary election, she said. So now that our students are going back to school and people are engaging in sports on a limited basis, there is a chance that COVID numbers could spike in Tuscarawas County and in the state of Ohio. If that happens, polling places might have to be closed on Election Day, she said. Garabrandt urged people with questions about voting to call the board office at 330-343-8819. "There is a lot of misinformation out there," she said. "Somebody called the other day and said, 'My neighbor told me that if I want to fill out an absentee ballot application, I have to have 2 witnesses and it has to be notarized.' She said, "That is totally false. You have to sign it. It doesn't have to be witnessed and it doesn't have to be notarized." So if you have those questions and people are telling you things, please check with us. Please come to the source. We're going to be happy to give you the correct information. Early voting hours. The Tuscarawas County Board of Elections, located at 101 East High Street, New Philadelphia, will be open the following hours for 2020 general election in-person absentee voting. October 6th, 9 to 8. October 6th through 9, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 12th through 16, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 19 through 23, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. October 24, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. October 25, 1 to 5 p.m. October 26th through the 30th, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. October 31st, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. November 1st, 1 to 5 p.m. November 2nd, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this source is the Tuscarawas County Board of Elections. All right, that ends that one. Let's all get out there and vote. Our next article, Denison spreading the word on new fire garage. At the August 20th meeting, the key action was Denison Fire Department personnel and other volunteers will be distributing letters in the next week to all residents. The letter explains all the reasons the fire garage is needed and gives individuals and other businesses information on how to donate if they so choose. Ordinances and resolutions. An ordinance was passed to rescind a prior ordinance that had waived permit fees for home maintenance repair work. The original fees will be effective for all permits. An ordinance was passed to require a $10 fee for landlords when they register a new tenant. There will be no fee when it is registered as vacant. A resolution was passed authorizing the mayor and all council members to enter into an agreement to purchase the ODOT outpost facility. Other actions: a new volunteer firefighter will be sent to a volunteer training course for $600. Stripping of the roadways were completed by the street department. Mayor Greg DiDonato wanted to clarify his earlier statement and say that no taxpayer dollars are planned to be used for the fire department garage. RETA collections are on target with the budget, with collections of $54,313.90. Fiscal Officer Kathy Norman recommended no additional appropriations for the year due to upcoming scheduled payments and the result of the upcoming election for the levy renewal. Helen Borland accepted the assignment of Mayor Pro Temp, and Mike Clark was named as chairman for the Finance Committee due to the appointment of DiDonato to the mayor's position. Mayor DiDonato reappointed Nathan Davis to another term on the Twin City Water Board. The village recycled 45.6 tons and collected 75.28 tons of yard waste last quarter. Received a report showing how the village is spending CARES Act dollars. Received an update of the donations made to the fire department garage. Restored Kevin Tiedrick, a street department employee, back to full hours effective 8/25/20 after a cut due to the pandemic. The zoning official will also be back to his full hours on August 25th. The fiscal officer had reduced her pay during the pandemic and will be returned to full pay. Mayor DiDonato reported that a special meeting will be called to approve the plans for the new fire garage in the next few weeks. No date has been set. Chief Todd Beeman said Dave McClintock of Dave's Auto Body completed work on the K9 Cruiser to match the other village cruisers as a donation to the village. The next meeting will be at 7:15 p.m. on September 17th in council chambers. This next article is titled "Attorney, Fairless Local to Pay Substantial Amount to a Gay Student" by Kelly Beyer. The family's lawsuit listed about 24 instances in which the teen said he was treated unfairly because of his sexual orientation. Navarre, a former Fairless High School student, and his family have reached a settlement deal in their lawsuit against the school board members and officials. The school board agreed to resolve the case Tuesday during its regular meeting after members spent more than an hour in closed session. The family filed the federal discrimination lawsuit in June 2019. It described ongoing harassment and discrimination after the teen was outed by another student in the fall of 2017. Named as defendants were the Fairless Local School Board, Superintendent Brock Bidlack, High School Principal Larry Chambliss, Assistant Principal Mike Hall, then School Board President Ken Killian, teachers Janice Courtney, Denise Meredith, and Chris Roberts, and Kevin Billy, the school's former athletic director who contracted as the boys' head basketball coach, was not renewed in April of 2019. The family's complaint listed about 24 instances in which the teen said he was treated unfairly because of his sexual orientation. It also stated that the district and its representatives failed to protect the teen from harassment and discrimination as required by the federal and state law. The former student and his parents tried to address the treatment with the superintendent and school board, according to the lawsuit. The family went to the superintendent with concerns, and nothing else was ever done about it, said Courtney Morgan, the family's attorney. Bidlack declined to comment on the case. Morgan said the settlement includes substantial monetary relief, which she did not disclose. But equally important to my client, there's a requirement that an outside entity come in to train the administrators and the staff on their Title IX policy and how it works, because that was one of the central issues in the case, he said. Title IX is a federal law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in federally funded education institutions and athletic programs. Morgan said the family's complaints about the teens' treatment should have been formally investigated by district officials, and they did not want another student to face similar discrimination. Training conducted by a third party must be done within 2 years, Morgan said. The length of time and unspecified entity allows flexibility during the COVID-19 pandemic, she added. Our next article, Muskingum County man injured in a UTV rollover. A Muskingum County man was injured in a utility vehicle crash Saturday night in Pike Township. The Coshocton County Sheriff's Office said the wreck occurred at 10:53 p.m. Saturday in the 16,000 block of County Road 80. A 23-year-old Muskingum County man lost control of a Polaris RZR he was driving. The vehicle overturned multiple times in the roadway before going off the left side and over the guardrail. It came to rest after going over an embankment. The Sheriff's Office said the driver was flown from the scene by medical helicopter to Ohio University Wexner Medical Center in Columbus for treatment of undisclosed injuries. And I think this is a duplicate article. So let's just move on. In the news, Mayor Cadell issued reminder on census. Mayor Pat Cadell is reminding Newcomerstown residents to complete information for the 2020 census, with the deadline having been moved to September 30th. Information provided by the Tuscarawas County Commissioners notes the census is important because $1,800 of federal and state funding is lost for each uncounted individual, not just for 1 year, but for the next 10 years until the next census is taken. It impacts funding for education, including special needs, milk, and reduced price lunch programs. It impacts local government funding. It could mean the loss of a seat in Congress. Census data is used to determine if a company stays, leaves, grows, or relocates in Tuscarawas County. Area residents can take the census online at https://2020census.gov by mail or by calling 844-330-2020. As of July 30th, some 63% of Newcomerstown residents have completed the census, compared to Tuscarawas County with 69.7%, State of Ohio self-response at 67.3%, Port Washington at 66.1%, Janaden-Hutton 60.2%. The highest rate of return in the county has been Strasburg with 80.1%. while the lowest has been Mineral City at 43.2%. Up next, face coverings. The Newcomerstown Exempted Village School District officials said the district will be following recommendations ordered by the Ohio Department of Health and outlined in a letter from the Ohio Children's Hospital Association and the Ohio chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. The Ohio Children's Hospital Association is recommending all K-12 students in Ohio to wear a face covering while at school. However, the Ohio Department of Health is following federal guidance and prohibiting the use of face shields as a substitute for face coverings or masks. Schools will acknowledge some specific exceptions, including children under 2 years of age, any child unable to remove the face covering without assistance, a child with a significant behavioral or psychological issue undergoing treatment that is exacerbated by a facial covering, a child with severe autism or with extreme developmental delay who may become agitated or anxious wearing a mask, and a child with a facial deformity that causes airway obstructions. Next, we have a pool to close. The last day for the pool at Cy Young Park to be open this year will be August 23rd. Leaves for compost. The Newcomerstown Street Department is asking that if any area resident would like leaves for composting this fall, they should let the village know when the street department begins picking up leaves later this year. Next, scholarships. The Christ United Methodist Church Scholarship Committee has awarded 2 scholarships. One to Calvin Ringer, son of Matt and Kathy Ringer. Calvin is studying at Walsh University to become an intervention specialist. His goal is to come back to Newcomerstown to teach, then eventually return to school to pursue a master's degree in administration. The committee noted Calvin wants to come back and have an impact and give back to the community as they have done for him. Adam Lenhoff, son of Jack and Sally Lenhoff. Adam is studying at Ohio Northern University to become a construction project manager. He sums up all his goals by saying that he hopes to work, give, love, and spread the Word of God half as much as his grandfather, Nelson Miller. Next topic, services updated. The Newcomerstown Public Library has reinstated its printing, copying, and faxing service. These services will be priced the same as before. Printing and copying is 10 cents per page for black and white and 50 cents per page for color. Faxes are $1 for the first page and 50 cents for each additional page. Beginning Wednesday, August 26th, the library will begin offering a free notary service. The Newcomerstown Board of Education has approved giving free backpacks to all students K through 12 in the district. The district had already approved giving free Chromebooks to all students and said the backpacks will give greater protection for those devices. The Vert 3.1 shoulder bag can be converted to a backpack and has a secure top opening with a separate protected compartment for laptops or tablets. Well, we're going to move to the next article. Midvale Speedway reopens to racing fans. Brandon Short captured the late model division feature race as action at Midvale Speedway resumed with fans Saturday night. It was the first race since the Tuscarawas County Common Pleas Judge Edward O'Farrell issued a court order allowing spectators to be in attendance. On July 29th, the Tuscarawas County Health Department notified the Speedway that no spectators would be permitted at the racetrack. As a result, the racetrack shut down. Midvale Speedway was to hold races on Saturday, August 15th with fans in the stand, but racing was canceled due to a threat of rain. Rick Sibilia won the modified feature and Kyle Grove claimed the street stocks, while Bill Abiel mini trucks, James Leslie and Bill Hilliker compacts, and Blake Miley trophy stocks were also winners. This Saturday night, the CRS Super Trucks return with all 6 regular divisions for week number 8. And our next article, Board of Elections braces for high voter turnout. Tuscarawas County elections officials are working to secure more space at the courthouse for early voting. Board of Director Gail Gerbrandt says they would like to move the operation. Board of Elections Director Gail Garbrandt said they would like to move the operations from its current area into the board's conference room, anticipating a high turnout and the space required to keep voters properly distanced. She said the Ohio Secretary of State is anticipating a 70% turnout, with about half of the voters expected to request mail-in ballots. Garbrandt said they're also going to need additional workspace to process all of the mail-in ballots, so they've asked court officials if it would be possible to use a couple of their mediation rooms. Well, my friends, this concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Monday, August 24th. My apologies for errors or anything that I may have relayed difficultly. This is Pam saying, please stay safe and be blessed.